garage. I'm Andy Phillips. We are back here in the garage working on the Countach project that's been actually going on now for about 17 months. We've done some major work since the last video. I went ahead and rebuilt the entire fuel system on it because as we started to go in and replace parts, the entire thing had just been completely corroded and just damaged and seized up from being stored improperly and sitting so long as it did out in that field. So that's all been redone. We've also gone ahead and we fixed the transmission line. We've flushed out all the fluids from the transmission, the oil filter, all that. So for the first time since we've had it here, we're going to go ahead and try to start it up without using any starting fluid. Up until this point, we'd been using starting fluid just to test the engine and make sure everything was good. So we're going to go ahead and start that today just by putting the key in and firing up, see how that goes. So let's go ahead and try that. Okay, as mentioned before, this will be the first time firing this thing up just by using the ignition on it. To my knowledge, it's been at least 3 years because it's been in my care here for about 17 months, and it was approximately 1.5 to 2 years sitting in the field that we pulled it out of. So with everything good to go, we're going to go ahead and fire it up and let's see what happens. Well, good news is it fired up right away. The engine sounds actually pretty solid and strong. However, we're noticing a lot of that smoke coming out, which could be from it sitting. It could also be because of an oil issue. When we did drain the fluids, there was an overabundance of oil in it. We also noticed that there was a lot of sludge that came out towards the end of the drain. So keeping that in mind, I think what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and remove the oil pan next. Looked like there was a little bit of leakage around the gasket seal there, so we're going to replace that and just replace the entire oil pump assembly just to play it safe. Chances are there could be sludge caked up around the actual strainer piece that receives the oil into the pump. So we're going to check that out. We don't want to risk it. This had a fairly new engine in it when we got it. The engine only had, I think, 1,000 or 2,000 miles on it, so we don't want to risk damaging that engine. So the next step we're going to do then is go ahead and drop the oil pan, clean that out, replace the gasket on it, redo the entire oil pump assembly and all the components just to play that safe, clean out whatever's in there. And I think that'll be wrapping it up as far as for the engine goes and getting it running. We did do a little bit of a backup and forward with it just to see how the transmission seemed. It seemed fine, but I would like to take it out for an actual drive, make sure there's no issues with that. And then a couple other things that we need to do with it after that is there's a transmission line. I'm sorry, not a transmission line, a coolant hose that going underneath the vehicle that has kind of dry rotted. It's got a leak, so we're going to replace that. Check the other hoses as well because of the age on it, and then we're also going to be lubricating the pulleys, changing out the belts. I don't know if you noticed when it was running, it has a squeak to it, so I think it could be the belts, so we're going to take care of that. And then there's a couple grease fittings, the little bushings. There's 3 behind each wheel. We're going to replace those. They all look pretty much dried out and leaking, so we're going to take care of those. And unless anything else surfaces, that should wrap it up for the mechanical, and then we can move on to the body, which there's a little bit of customization that has to happen. The windows are not the right size, so we're going to reshape those and then just kind of do some minor cosmetic alterations to take it back to the original LP400S body. And then we're going to sand it down, get it repainted, and then get some new tires put on the front, since the ones on the front had pretty much dry rotted and they're gone at this point. And then I think that'll be coming to an end on this vehicle. So 17 months into it, and we're kind of rounding third, and everything's moving along very well. The test today was a huge milestone. So that pretty much wraps it up. So as always, we thank you for supporting, for watching. Please send any questions, any comments. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel. We'll see you next time here in the garage.